Okay, we're back. This segment I wanted to cover marketing materials. You know, back in the 90s when I started, marketing materials were everything. There wasn't such thing as internet, blah, blah, blah. And so it was all about the marketing materials. While they are less important than they used to be, you still got to have hard printed stuff. That includes maybe a flyer or a set of flyers, business cards, a logo on your shirt, that just lets people know that you are serious as a home inspector. One of the things I saw that had me annoyed as I was trying to train home inspectors is some of them would show up in shorts and just a shirt. And you know, he figured that if shorts were good enough for him in his building trade, then they were good enough as a home inspection. You know, you only need Levi's, but it can't be shorts. You've got to respect the client through what you wear. Now, me personally, I'm down in my basement right now. You know, nobody is going to see me down here except for you, who I'm training. So I didn't have to wear this shirt, but I respected you enough to wear this shirt so that you could see basically what my home inspection shirt looks like. So, you know, it all begins with getting a logo that doesn't suck. Now, in this case, I designed this logo myself back in 1993, and it sucks. But, you know, years go by, and people start to recognize this logo, and I can't change it. It kind of is who I am. So, for me, I'm telling you to do something other than what I did, which is get a logo that doesn't suck. You know, pay the money for it. You can go to places like designcrowd.com, DESIGNCROWD.com, and then you will have people all over the world design you a nice logo. It doesn't cost that much. You know, I've had people design me stuff. One guy was in the Philippines, another one was in Greece. And you can get these guys that compete to get you a logo that's good. Maybe you already know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Try to avoid the commonplace. And what that means, you know, I mentioned earlier that my wife and I used to own a tanning salon. And in the tanning business, you want to stay away from beaches and palm trees and suns in the logo, because everybody does that. And you've got to be unique. In the home inspection business, your logo, you've got to stay away from, again, obvious stuff like houses and magnifying glasses and some dude that looks like Sherlock Holmes. Nobody's going to gather that you're unique based on a logo that looks like absolutely everybody else. So you gotta get one that doesn't suck. Next thing you gotta do, you gotta have a business card that doesn't suck. So you can go to a place like vistaprint.com and you can get business cards for very cheap, and I do that. But if you suck as a designer, you'll get business cards that suck, and those business cards will cost you money, as your realtor is handing your suckful business card to buyers A and B, and they say, here, call this guy. They're going to look at this card and say, this guy is a grade B amateur, and they're going to call somebody else. And then your cheap business cards just cost you $400. It also, you know, that scenario also costs you to the realtor too, because now they're going to think, wow, maybe I shouldn't put my name behind this inspector, because handing that business card, his business card, to my clients makes the realtor look bad as well. So get your, you know, it doesn't have to be excessively awesome, but it needs to be basically adequate. And, you know, so you've got to bridge that gap. And I'm not going to tell you what that looks like. I'm just telling you, be careful if you think you can do that yourself. Business card that doesn't suck. You got the logo and you want to put that on a shirt. There's places you can do that online where you can order, or you can send them the logo and you can get the shirt. There's a lot of those. You can Google that. You know, and then you've got your branding done here too. If you show up in just a t-shirt, You leave room for doubt as to whether you are a professional or whether you've been in business for 2 weeks or, that sort of thing. If it doesn't look like you are and know what you're doing, you don't get the credibility that you need to start with. Finally, the flyers. It can still be helpful to physically put flyers in everybody's box. Now, flyers, in most cases, flyers are kind of like email. Me personally, I get thousands of spam emails per week, and it's a job just to delete them all. So I'm not going to go through every one of my emails and see, and see if it's something that I need to deal with. Basically, I'm going to scan very quickly, and if there is an email that I must respond to, I'll go to that one. Everything else gets deleted. The same sort of thing applies with flyers. So if you are one of a 3-inch stack of materials that is in a realtor's inbox, you're going to quickly be thrown away. Your stuff has to be, in order to get noticed, it's got to be unique, it's got to be colorful, it's got to be interesting, it's got to be relevant. If you've got a sense of humor that you can put on paper, do that. If you're going to do printed flyers, go ahead. Just be aware that, throwing materials inside somebody's inbox is not anywhere near as effective as putting your face in front of them. Developing a relationship, if you can get, let's say, 5 minutes in front of them, 4.5 minutes should be talking about them, their family, their interests, what's important to them, the weather, whether they like the Steelers or not, all of that, and then you can spend 30 seconds on what makes you the correct choice for a home inspector. If you're going to put your face in front of them and lecture them for 5 minutes, they're going to be wishing they could physically push you out of their office, because nobody wants to be sold. So, make sure that, marketing materials are great, but you are your own best marketing material. Sell yourself by not selling yourself. Sell yourself by making it about them. Whether them is the realtor or whether them is the buyer, it's got to be about them.